Here at the CarGurus UK YouTube channel, we are often talking about how SUVs have taken over from saloons and estates as the family cars of choice for British car buyers. But that's not always true. And that's because despite BMW having an extensive range of SUVs ranging from the X1, X2 and X3, covering every number all the way up to the X7, the good old 3 Series is still the company's best-selling car on these shores. And in order to keep this popularity going, BMW has recently bestowed its bestseller with a midlife facelift, although you'd need eagle eyes to spot the differences. There are new designs for the grille, headlights and tailgates, although it has to be said the overall look of the car isn't all that different to before. The car we have here is the 330e plug-in hybrid touring version in M Sport trim, and that means it has a slightly sportier look than lower end models. This being the touring version or estate, the boot is very important and it's good enough. It's a usable square shape, although it is worth noting that this plug-in hybrid has a slightly smaller boot than the non-plug-in hybrid BMWs because the batteries and hybrid components need to live somewhere, and that is under the boot floor. So in here you get 410 litres versus the non-hybrid BMW Touring getting 500 litres. You still get a bit of underfloor storage though, which you can keep your charging cables in, or if your load cover isn't needed, then that can be stowed under there too. The rear seats fold down in a very handy 40-20-40 split, adding some versatility, but you are left with a strange step down to the rear seat backs, which can make it a bit awkward to load and unload heavy items. However, you get a powered tailgate as standard, which can be really handy when you've got an armful of shopping bags. And if you just have a small item to put in, you can open just the window, pop it in like that, done, and shut it again. The rear seats are as roomy and as comfortable as they are in any rival, and they're definitely big enough to accommodate a tall adult with plenty of legroom and plenty of headroom. Of course, plenty of room for me at only 5'4.5". Now, if you need to sit in the middle seat, it's a little bit firm and a little bit higher up compared with the seats either side, and you do need to put your feet either side of the transmission tunnel or kind of awkwardly squeeze them in the middle like that, but it's not too uncomfortable. The facelift might not be all that obvious from the outside, but when you get into the driver's seat, you notice the difference straight away. And the first thing you notice is this long curved screen here, and it takes in the digital instrument cluster and the infotainment screen into one long, elegant curved unit. The graphics are every bit as sharp and as slick as we've come to expect from BMW. All the functionality you expect is included, and the system is fairly easy to navigate despite its complexity. And as well as having touchscreen functionality, if you want it, you can also scroll through the on-screen menus using this wheel controller and these shortcut buttons, which is much less distracting. It's not all good news though, because the facelift has also seen the removal of physical aircon controls, which means you now have to muck about with the touchscreen to change your settings, which is a bit of a faff. Otherwise, you've got a lovely, low-slung, sporty driving position, and there's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel and the seat, and excellent visibility all round. Yes, excellent visibility. And the quality of the materials in here is really plush, so there's a great standard of fitment everywhere. It's as posh as you would expect a BMW to be. What you also expect from a BMW is that it's good to drive, and this car definitely delivers. Since the facelift, nothing's really changed from a dynamic point of view, and that's a good thing because it was already the most fun and engaging car of its type. You can have your 3 Series with rear-wheel drive or optional X-Drive 4-wheel drive, but whichever you go for, you get absolutely loads of grip and traction, along with sharp body control and crisp responses from the throttle and brakes. The steering is a particular highlight because it's quick, beautifully weighted, and delivers genuine feedback. Agility is a strong point for all iterations of the 3 Series then. Ride comfort, though, is where things get a little more complicated. If you go for a more basic 3 Series with a standard passive suspension setup, then it's a little on the firm side to contribute towards its nimble nature, but it's not too firm that it's uncomfortable. M Sport cars come with a stiffer suspension setup as standard, which might well be too stiff for some tastes. So we'd very much urge you to try before you buy to make sure you can live with a less forgiving ride. However, M Sport cars can also be specified with the optional M Sport Pro Pack, which provides, amongst several other things, adaptive suspension. And with this fitted, the 3 Series is at its very best. Depending on which driving modes you select and how you configure them, you can soften the suspension up to make it really comfortable. In fact, more comfortable than either of the other 2 suspension arrangements. Or you can firm it up to make the car even more agile. So in that sense, you really do get the best of both worlds. And happily, the 330e's plug-in hybrid drivetrain has easily enough performance to make the most of the car's impressive dynamic abilities. It pairs a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine with an electric motor to deliver a total output of 288 brake horsepower. If you unleash the full power of both, then this car is capable of sprinting from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 5.9 seconds, and it has a top speed of 142 miles per hour, so it's pretty quick. Not only that, you do not have to bury the throttle for it to feel responsive and eager. And throughout that, the powertrain remains smooth and quiet. And it works really well with the standard 8-speed automatic gearbox. With a full charge of the batteries, the 330e will travel up to 37 miles on electric-only power, according to official WLTP figures, and at speeds of up to 86 miles per hour. However, these same figures also suggest that it will give you an average fuel consumption of up to 201 miles per gallon, but that is a number that should be taken with a sizable pinch of salt. These official laboratory-based fuel economy tests are unrealistically flattering to plug-in hybrids, and the real-world fuel economy will be dependent on how you drive it and how much time you spend in battery power alone. So if you do spend a lot of time in battery power alone, you will have some sensational fuel economy figures. If, however, you let the battery run dry and you need to call upon that petrol engine, it is going to get very thirsty indeed, and then your fuel economy figures will not be quite so attractive. Regardless of how much petrol you end up using though, choosing the 330e will save you a packet in tax if you're a company car driver. Benefit in kind bills will be calculated on 12 to 14% of the 330e's value, whereas if you go for a 3 Series with a purely petrol or diesel engine, you're looking at somewhere between 31 and 37%, and that'll have a huge effect on your monthly outlay. For us, the 3 Series has always been the best car in the executive compact class, and the latest facelift has done very little to change that. Okay, so it's annoying that the car lost its physical aircon controls, but to compensate, it's now got an even more sophisticated infotainment system that's just as easy to operate, and the car is also just as roomy, just as plush feeling, and just as great to drive as ever before. And we reckon the best form you can have is the form we have here, which is the 330e M Sport with adaptive suspension. Its scintillating handling satisfies your heart, its strong practicality satisfies your head, its comfier ride satisfies your chiropractor, and the plug-in hybrid low running costs satisfy your bank manager. So everyone's happy. What do you think? Has the recent facelift made the 3 Series more compelling than ever? Let us know in the comments. And remember to subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel for lots more videos. And if you're currently searching for your next car, why not head over to cargurus.co.uk to find it? And using our clever pricing technology, we'll even tell you whether the dealer selling it is giving you a good price or not.